Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. How are you, Victoria?
Good. I'm doing so well. You look beautiful. Congratulations on the film. It was absolutely phenomenal. I have to ask you, what was it like working with LeBron James?
Oh my goodness. It was great. I was really impressed with his preparedness. I think he knew exactly what was going to be expected of him. I think he knew that, carrying a film is a big deal and a big responsibility. And of course, he's used to carrying and he's used to being a leader, and he brought that. He brought that to the film, and he was ready, 110% prepared. And we've seen that he has great comedic timing. We've seen that before, in Train Wreck. But he just came ready to go. And so it made it easy, it made it smooth, and we had such a great dynamic with the whole family too, with Sierra and Cedric and the sweet Harper.
Yes.
So it was great. It was a good time. It
Well,
was.
you guys really did a great job with it, and you sold it well as a family.
Thank you.
I can't help but to think. When I think of you, I think of so many things. When I think of you, I think of Star Trek. I think of Walking Dead, and when I think of your Walking Dead character, I find similarities in your character in Space Jam. I mean, obviously two different, but this role almost seemed easy for you. And when I think back to Walking Dead too, I'm like, you play this tough character that has a tough exterior, but like a soft inside, this nurturing part about her. Was this easy for you to take on, or was this a challenge in a way that maybe we didn't see as viewers?
Hmm, that's a great question. I will say it was a little bit of a mind trip in the beginning when I was preparing for it, because as I was creating this life of Kamaya, when I was
Mhm.
creating my past and of course my past with LeBron, it was a little bit of a mind trip because he's playing himself, but not really himself. Right.
Yeah.
He's playing this alternate reality version of himself. Right. And so it was just a little mind trip for a second. And then it was fine. But I also had not ever done a melding of sci-fi and family before.
Mhm.
So that took a little bit of adjusting to, because I'm usually, as you know, I'm doing something intense or raw or deep and whatnot. And so this was my introduction to this genre and the sort of lightness of it. But it ended up being so much fun, and I loved being able to be in that space, right? In a sort of family oriented space. It was very comforting.
Well, it was comforting to watch too. And you did, again, I just can't gush over you enough. Really quick before I let you go, Star Trek, we've got Star Trek Discovery season 4 coming up. How's
Yeah.
it looking for us?
Oh my gosh, it's looking great. Michael Burnham is the captain.
Yes.
We finally made it there. It was always a journey to the chair, but of course I couldn't say, when exactly it was going to happen. So I'm really, really grateful that, here I am. I've been solidified in the franchise in this way. Black woman,
Yes.
really big deal, right? So it's just going to be about, what we have to deal with next, and me getting acclimated as Michael Burnham to being the captain of a starship, and all the things I'll have to learn along the way.
A big responsibility, girl,
That's
but you got
right.
it.
Speaking of responsibility.
Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Hello, how are you, Cedric?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
Good, doing well. Congratulations on the film. You did such a phenomenal job. I have to ask, what was it like working with LeBron James and playing his son?
Yeah. That it was crazy. It was mind blowing. Best summer of my life.
I
Uh,
can imagine.
yeah. Getting to be with him and film and seeing what kind of person he was and how humble and cool he was. He made it really easy for me, and he made the whole summer really fun.
Did he give you any advice?
There was definitely some tips that I've gotten that you'll see in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I know that he's done a little bit of acting before, and you kind of got your career started a few years ago. Were you able to maybe give him any pointers, or did he just come that well prepared?
Um, Not gonna lie, he came really prepared. There was still some things that we were picking up off of each other, but he did better than a lot of people thought and would think he did. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your character was really interesting in a sense of, I think that a lot of people are going to be able to relate to Dom in a sense of like wanting to take their own path and not maybe necessarily follow in their parents' footsteps. Um, do you enjoy playing basketball or video games at
Yeah.
all?
So Cedric, I really love both basketball and video games. That's something that I really love to do. Um, uh, I'll either like play basketball if I don't have anything to do, or just play the video game all day. So
Yeah. What was your favorite part about being in this film?
um, just being around LeBron and Don Cheadle and getting to film with him, realizing how big of a franchise this is, and this being my first, and getting to do it with them, and how cool they were. They made it really easy for me, and they took the weight off me.
Did you do anything in particular to maybe prepare for this role a little bit more?
I played a lot more basketball. I looked at Space Jam a dozen times, the
Yeah.
original. Uh, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just getting
Did
ready.
LeBron give you any advice on, or did he give you any like tips on how to like maybe improve your game a little bit?
Um, there was some tips being given. And like I said, a lot of it wasn't like personal, like one-on-ones, but it was things that were being picked up as we went into the scene.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. What was your biggest takeaway from this film? Like, what did you learn from this that you can now move forward and say, I'm going to be a better actor or a better, whatever from this?
Stay humble, stay consistent, and just uh stay hungry. I always want to, I don't want to stop here. I want to do more films, and don't don't stress myself. I don't really stress myself, and I always try to have fun with everything I do, but still give 100%.
Oh, good. Are your friends excited to see it?
Oh yeah, they're really excited.
Good. All right. Well, hey, listen, it was so great speaking to you. Congratulations. You did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Well, first off, congratulations on this incredible film. You did a fabulous job. I feel like with sequels, there's always this added pressure of like, can it live up to the first one? Can it be better than the first one? Did you feel any of that pressure going into this?
We never really took the tack that Space Jam: A New Legacy was a sequel. It was just like it's kind of borrowing the name, yes, and we have a global superstar basketball player, yes, and the tunes, but it's a different movie. Where we are in this digital age was very different than where they were in the mid '90s, and so my kind of North Star was just my love of the tunes growing up. I used to watch them on Saturday morning cartoons with a bowl of cereal, and would watch them for hours before my father told me to get out the house. And so I took that, and the global icon that LeBron James is, because I'm also such a big basketball fan and a fan of LeBron's as well. That I was able to we were able to kind of like use that as our guiding light.
Yeah. There was a lot of nostalgia in this movie, and you say that you loved the tunes, and it comes off as if so, because you kind of stuck to the original in parts of this film. Was that a priority for you to add in? I mean, there were so many nods in this film. I don't want to give anything away, but was that a priority for you?
I have such a love of the tunes and fond memories of them growing up. So I wanted, what made me endear myself to them so much, and I wanted that to be to come through on the screen. So that was really the thing that made it most important to me, is to make sure I captured that the essence of that more than trying to adhere to a movie that existed after my memory of the tunes.
Sure. What was it like directing LeBron James?
LeBron's great. He loves to act. He loves to dress up. He loves to be silly. He loves to be loud. He likes being funny. And he's an open vessel when it comes to direction. Even when we wanted to get him to be a little bit more emotionally, have a little bit more emotional depth he was able to do it and wanted to do it, and he really wanted to make the movie great because, as you said, the Space Jam, the previous Space Jam is such a, an exalted place in people's hearts that we knew he wanted it to be great, or just as good as the first one, but maybe put his own stamp on it, and he was great to be on camera and off camera.
Yeah, well, I have to say, with respect to Michael Jordan in the original, this one may have been better. Space Jam: A New Legacy. Loved the film. Fabulous job you did in that. With Speedy Gonzales, I know that there's been some controversy around it. Was there ever any hesitancy to take on the role?
No, I mean, I was a big fan of the original film. Grew up watching Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes characters. And so when they asked me to do this one, I was like, yeah, I'm all about it. I didn't even have to audition. They just said, would you like to be in Space Jam and play Speedy Gonzales? I said, yes. And then, of course, the questions started coming about, cultural, sensitivity and making sure everything was right. And so, we went back and forth. What do you think of the voice? Is it okay? Is it too stereotypical? What do you want to do? I appreciated the fact that there was so many questions. Warner Brothers went above and beyond to make sure that, at least with me, that I was very comfortable with the role and that, it was being represented the right way. I'm excited. I'm the first ever actual real Mexican to play Speedy Gonzales. He's always been played by somebody other than the original voice was done by a great voice actor named Mel Blanc, who did all the Looney Tunes cartoons many years ago. And so I'm happy to be part of it. And I did my best to try to get as close to Speedy as possible. Yeah. And that was a lot of fun.
I think you did a great job. And I'm so happy that you did bring that up. I'm so happy that there is that representation there because we've needed that for so long. I know that you had tweeted out about, cancel culture and everything. Do you agree with people trying to cancel Speedy or how do you feel about it?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, what's Speedy Gonzales's crime? Like, really, he's Mexican and he's fast. That's not a crime. That's job security where I live. He was always made to look good in the cartoons. He never caught by the cat. He always outsmarted the cat. He was a hero in my house. So we never saw him as something negative and nothing to be ashamed of. So for me, my whole family was excited. They're like, dude, you get to be Speedy. I'm like, yeah. And so, of course, when they said, what do you think you should sound like? I said, well, I think Speedy should sound like Speedy. Yeah. And, so that was my goal, was to get as close to that as possible. And of course, the director's like, do you think you can nail it? And I'm like, that's what I do for a living, is voices. Yeah. So to go from this to, hola amigos, I am Speedy Gonzales, fast y smashy in all Mexico. Arriba, and then I told him, I said, don't think that just because I'm Mexican, I can only play the Mexican. I says, I can do the whole movie. I says, you want Marvin the Martian? Oh my modulator. You want Yosemite Sam? Oh, hi there, rabbit. You want Bugs Bunny? What's up, Doc? I says, you can fire all the other actors right now. I'll do the whole movie for half. Okay. We'll use the money we save for the sequel.
Well, they should have. I mean, goodness gracious, you can just do them all. You're a one-man band right here.
I've done voices my whole life, and doing stand-up, and I've always incorporated characters into my set, but I've never had the I guess motivation to want to do, cartoon voices like this, because I might make a little noise here and there character in my show, but the actual cartoons, to just mimic those was like, wow, I can actually do it. So all the original characters were done by one person. So why can't one person do them all now?
I know. Well, listen, you did a fabulous job and congratulations on the role. Loved the film. And thank you so much for your time today.